Welcome back. In this segment, we're talking about the circulatory system. We're going to see how the blood moves through the heart as well as through all of the blood vessels throughout our bodies. We've talked about in lecture the crocodiles, birds, and mammals having a four-chambered heart and how that makes the system more efficient for oxygen delivery. And it also allows for a complete separation of both the pulmonary and the systemic systems, with the separation of unoxygenated blood and oxygenated blood. So with that, let's go to the document camera where we have an image showing the heart and the circulation of blood through the heart and the circulatory system. So here we have the mammalian heart, this four-chambered heart with the different chambers, the atriums and the ventricles. You have unoxygenated blood coming back from the systemic circulatory system through the superior vena cava, and from the lower part of our body through the inferior vena cava into the right atrium, around and down through the right ventricle, and out through the pulmonary system. The pulmonary arteries go to the lungs, where the blood becomes oxygenated and it returns to the heart oxygenated into the right atrium through the right ventricle, and then back around and out of the aorta here, where it separates into large vessels, one going to the head to take oxygenated blood to the head and one to the rest of the body. When these arteries go down into the systemic circulatory system, they will eventually go into capillary beds. And it's in these capillary beds that you actually get the exchange of oxygen in the uptake of carbon dioxide. And again, these will return via the inferior and the superior vena cavas to the heart. So with this, looking at this very nice graphic, let's now draw this so that we get our very own input and see how this occurs. So you have the heart, and let's just draw a quick schematic here of it, something like what it looks like in the book. And you've got the right atrium here. And you have the superior vena cava coming in the inferior vena cava that is going to be bringing blood into this deoxygenated blood into the right atrium. From here, it flows down into the ventricle, and from there, it will flow up and out through to the pulmonary circulatory system, to the lungs. So from here, it's going to the lungs. Where it becomes oxygenated. It will then return to the heart via the pulmonary vein and come into the right atrium. So let's label this. Actually, this is the left atrium and this is the right. And here, this area will be your right ventricle and your left ventricle. Okay, so the blood will return through the pulmonary vein, will travel through the left ventricle, and it'll come back and up outside through a very large aorta. And so this aorta will come across, and then it will split into arteries that travel both to the head as well as to the rest of the body down here. Okay? And again, this large vessel is the aorta. So let's label a couple of more of these. So this is the superior vena cava here, that's bringing blood from, deoxygenated blood from the head down to the heart. And this is the inferior vena cava. Okay, and let's zoom out a little bit more and let's add a couple of more structures or labels on here. So up here will be the head, and this will be the rest of the body. So your deoxygenated blood will travel down through the superior vena cava into the right atrium, down into the right ventricle, and then back up and out, splitting to go to the lungs. So this is deoxygenated blood. Once in the lungs, it will become oxygenated, and it will travel back down to the heart, into the left atrium, through the left ventricle, and travel back up and out the aorta, and then back up to the head, and then down to the body. Okay, and again, when it reaches the body, there's going to be an exchange of oxygen and an uptake of carbon dioxide, and again it will return back up to the heart. And remember that in this area where you're actually getting the exchange of oxygen and the uptake of CO2 as well as other metabolic byproducts, it happens in the capillary network. With that, let's finish up with the circulatory system, and that's all for this segment, and we'll talk to you next time.